It seems like Huckleberry is still finding endless amounts of energy to keep the zucchini out here under control. Pretty much every morning and evening he's on patrol for unruly zucchini.
Hey buddy! On this? There you go. Huckleberry. Want this treat? The pepper. Okay, you like them.
I've got a few other vegetables starting to pop up in the garden, and Huckleberry likes pretty much all of them. It does seem like he is particularly partial to the squash though.
This is not for dogs.
I keep seeing that little juvenile black bear a few times a day. I have a feeling his mama just kicked him to the curb and he's trying to figure out his own territory. Every time I see him, I do try and give him a pretty big scare so he knows that it's not acceptable to be around the house or the horses. And Huckleberry has been training just in case he gets his paws on the bear.
Bring it here. Come here. Bring it here. You had too many. You're gonna get sick. Okay, two, three. Come on. There's not even any zucchinis here. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hello? Come here. You want this? Killing me. Ivor, you want zucchini too? Two little zucchini snatchers.
I don't really know if there's an appropriate amount of zucchini to be eating for a dog, but I think Huckleberry gets his fill pretty much every day.
You like peppers? No?
I was thrown a little bit of a curveball this morning when I saw the sheep were out. Unfortunately, in all of the commotion, Bruce did get injured.
Poor little buddy. Let me see your nose.
Early in the morning, I heard some commotion, and I'm pretty sure the bear scared the sheep out of their pen. There was a lot of running around, and Bruce must have ran into part of the wood inside the stall. He did a pretty good job at skinning up his forehead, and I did have a little bit of a panic attack because he also gave himself a bloody nose. I'm going to keep a really close eye on him for the rest of the day. I don't think anything is broken because he is acting fairly normal and his nose stopped bleeding really quickly. Pretty much the entire property needs to be re-fenced for the horses. Of the 4 boundary fences we have, only one is relatively safe for the horses. The rest is just a few strands of barbed wire, so I am going to make that more of a priority. Our well is still not hooked up to our house. I was really wanting to get going on the fencing and the shelters, but in all honesty, I do need to wait until we trench for the water lines. With all of the big boulders underneath the ground, it is unrealistic to think that they are going to go straight. Every day I work a little bit on chipping away at all of the rocks that are in the arena. I finally feel like I'm making a little bit of headway. Every day I'll come out here and pick a bunch of rocks up. I'll drag the arena and it will inevitably loosen some more up. It's really important to me before I start working the horses that there are relatively no rocks in here. The natural ground is pretty squishy on its own. I'm trying not to spend too much money all at once until we get our well situation figured out. So for now, the arena is just going to be the natural dirt. I'm hoping maybe in a week I'll be done picking all of these rocks. Although it is a little bit of a hike from where Prim and Bruce currently are, it will be the most safe area to turn them out in. I am a little bit hesitant with the bear around, but Bruce is going to have to get used to it. I feel like he has grown so much over the last week. I do catch him every day trying to get Scarlet to play with him. It doesn't really seem like his injury is slowing him down at all. I just gave it a quick clean and I think it'll heal up on its own. I'm not sure if it'll have any lasting scars. I purchased Scarlet from an auction while she was right around the same age as Bruce. She also had a very similar injury, but her skull was actually fractured. If you look pretty close, she does have a relatively big scar on the front of her face. I think Bruce was pretty lucky he didn't get really hurt running around, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to keep the sheep farther away from the horses. I have thought about just letting them run around so the horses could get used to them, but it's not worth it to risk Bruce getting more hurt.
Okay. So cute.
He's in pretty good spirits, so I am probably still going to give him a day or two off from haltering. He's not quite ready to walk up and put his face in the halter for me. I still have to get him to a very specific spot in the pen, and then he'll stand still to let me buckle it. With all of the growing he's been doing, his mane is starting to look more like a grown-up horse's. I'm probably going to try again soon to get a sufficient sample for a DNA test. I want to get him color tested before I send his papers away, and also I do need to run a disease panel on him. I kind of cruised around all day cleaning up little things around the ranch. When dinner time came around, I was back up on the arena picking rocks. Picking rocks out of an arena is one of my least favorite activities. If tons of rocks continue to come up, I'll probably have to manufacture some kind of sifting mechanism to pull behind the ranger, as I'm not sure this is the most effective use of my time. This arena lies pretty close to the tree line, and I have seen the bear come right past the horses out here. Sparkler was a little bit surprised about it, but Goose and Whiplash have seen tons of bear in the past. In the event that I can't pick all of the rocks out of the arena, I may end up moving it to a different spot on the property.
Tiny? Hey, Ziggo. Hey, Zig. Wanna ride soon, Ziggatron?
While I was getting everybody tucked in for the evening, I noticed that we were getting some wildfire smoke coming up the valley. Hopefully it won't be too bad over the next couple of days.
Did you find that? Let me see. Ivar.
The next morning it looked like we did have so much more smoke particles in the air. Huckleberry wasted no time getting a little play in before we did our chores. I'm not sure where he found this tennis ball because I don't generally let him play with them. I think he might be getting a little bit sick of all of the zucchini snacks.
I'm boring. Nope. Get out of here. Get out of here.
He has also taken to peeing on my zinnias, which is completely unacceptable. It looks like we have some little baby melons that are growing. I can't really remember what these are. It might be a little squash. I believe this is another type of summer squash as well. This one has really been spreading out. It's growing up over one of my raised beds and onto the trellis. It's been so dang hot. I've been trying to water the garden as much as needed. My pickle bed has shown a lot of yellowing on some of the plants. I'm not sure what's going on. I could be overwatering them. They might not be getting enough nutrients. I am a little bit paranoid that they might have some kind of viral or fungal disease, so I did end up pulling a few of the ones that look pretty terrible out. I planted extras because I was anticipating a bit of loss. I think at this point I just have to cross my fingers and hope for the best. All of these I started from seeds and then transplanted them a few weeks ago. I do think they were really close to flowering and producing some little tiny cucumbers. Even though we do have quite a bit of smoke rolling in, I think we are going to get a little bit of respite from the really hot long days. Instead of being around 100 degrees, it'll be closer to 85 to 90 degrees. Still pretty hot, but it's a lot easier for all of the little plants to recover. I really thought I was getting ahead of all of the small rocks out here, but I drug last night and a bunch more came up. This building pad was put up sometime in the 70s and it's just been sitting here. The previous owners had a round pen out here, but it was pretty flimsy and I knew I just was not going to use it, so I did remove it. I know a lot of people ride in arenas that look worse than this, but these size rocks are the perfect thing to break a horse's coffin bone if they were to step on it just right. You can also get lots of soft tissue and tendon injuries from horses stepping on rocks. I'd much rather take the time to get it all cleaned out than have to doctor horses after they've been hurt. Since we are going to have kind of a smoky, miserable day today, I am going to be heading into town. After she's had her fill of breakfast hay, Sparkler spends a lot of her time mean mugging Whiplash. She doesn't really appreciate all of his advances, but she's getting used to him. One of my main tasks while I was in town was to check out the fence post situation. Of course, I did end up doing a little shopping. A dry erase board for the cat house has been something that's on my list. I'm not exactly sure what it is about these particular mugs, but they are the perfect weight, so if I see a few in the thrift, I've got to pick them up. I didn't really have a lot of extra time to shop today because I had so many things to do in town, but I've been trying to take it easy, and wandering around in an air-conditioned store for a while was just what my body needed. I have found it hard to turn off my reselling brain, especially when I find really cool things that I would like to pick up and find a new home for. There were a few really cool dresses that I wanted to bring home, but I decided to leave them in the store for someone else to find. I did find some really cute, high quality spring dresses that are honestly probably just going to sit in my closet. Almost all of them were on sale, so they were right around $5 a piece, which is pretty hard to pass up. I took a stroll through the garden center and found some little asparagus plants that I'm going to add to the garden. I also found a few clearance daisies that I'll plant and see if they might survive the winter. While I was looking for a few extra sunshades for the horses, I noticed that they were having some other really good clearance deals. I have been looking for a planter to put on our porch for herbs. Some were really good deals, but I settled on a few that were made from plain old cedar. These were really cool. They were just like a cedar stand that you put 2 5-gallon buckets in. In the event that I don't put plants in them, they can be used for so many other things. They were such a good deal, I even had time left over to run in and grab a popsicle.
You hungry?
By the time I made it home, it was time to give everybody their dinner. Bruce and Prim were ready for their ration balancer.
You hungry? You got a lot to say.
Tiny seemed to be a little annoyed I spent so much time away from the ranch today. One thing I needed to find were some really good brushes for the horses. Prim's mane has been getting out of control because Bruce will just not stop climbing all over her. There was also a tack store in town that was doing a closeout on some inventory. This get-down rope should be perfect for Bruce. They're meant to go around a broke horse's neck as kind of like an emergency halter, but I'll use it on Bruce as a butt rope because that is a much better way to teach a foal how to lead. I did pick up some things to make a few fly traps and some extra tie rings. With this heat, I also picked up some extra electrolytes and some fly spray.
Tiny! You want some special food?
Tiny seems like she is unimpressed with her dinner selection this evening. After I'm done with the rest of my chores, I'll probably come back out and feed her some wet food. I've still been using my trailer to tie up some of the horses and groom them. It is the perfect size to put 3 on each side. It is in the perfect spot now, so at any time during the day, it does have shade on one side or another.
You're a good boy.
Bruce still seems to be unfazed by his recent injury. There even is a little bit of peach fuzz starting to grow back. I was worried that it was deep enough that it might have ruined the follicles, but I think it's going to come back in totally normal and you're not even going to be able to notice it.
Let's see those teeth. Let's see those chompers. You're choking yourself again.
He's gotten just tall enough to put his head over the next rung on these panels.
Is your food, Nigel? Go, Nigel. Just stop.
After everybody got their dinner, I did go back up to the arena and pick out another whole load of rocks. It's definitely getting better, but there's still a little bit too many out here for me to feel okay turning out the horses.
Are you so hungry?
Tiny was really working hard to get herself some wet food, even though she does have 24/7 access to dry food now in the little cat house. While I was in town, I also picked up 2 shade sails just as backups for the horses. There was another screaming deal I found today, and it is this Martin Crown C saddle. I've always wanted one of these because it does have an adjustable rigging. It should work perfect for either sparkler or scarlet. Eventually, Tiny broke me down and I did give her some wet food. With it being so hot out, it's good for her to get a little bit of extra moisture in her feed.
Come on, I'll snuggle you. Good girl.
I've been trying to button up a few other plans around the permanent pens. One thing that I have been trying to decide on lately is where to put the round pen. I wanted to put it in the little middle section where I just placed the driveway loop. I really thought it was big enough, but it definitely will not accommodate a 60-foot round pen. I'm thinking maybe up on this little dry spot next to the arena could work. I would imagine it is probably going to stay pretty windy up here. There is also an old ditch running through here that I've not been able to get the water turned on for yet. This spot is plenty big enough, but it would be silly to put a round pen right in the path of where I am going to be getting water. Another spot that I've been going back and forth on about a round pen is right in front of the arena. It is a spot that there does seem to be a lot of deer coming through. I think that might change a little bit once I get the horses up here. I had also thought about putting a round pen where the boys are. I really don't want things to be too spread out because I am going to be walking back and forth a bunch of times. I wanted to do a little loop around the property for you guys tonight. I'm going to go counterclockwise around the property for you, starting on the outside of Ziggy and Scarlet's pen. There are some parts of the pastures that have really dried old grass. For the most part, anything that you see that is green is going to be a weed. This ditch over here is completely dry. We haven't been able to turn it on yet. So there is a big chunk of the property that is pretty dusty right now. On the opposite side of this tree line to the right is where that hidden pasture is I put the boys in last week. And this is the farthest boundary fence. This giant patch of tamarisk trees is eventually going to have to go. There is a creek that runs past it and there are tons of deer that stay over here. This part of the property unfortunately does have a lot of old prairie dog holes that I am still filling in. Only a very small portion of them are still occupied. I've got to loop back around to make it across the ditch, but then we are going to make it back to where we started. I hope that gives you guys a little bit better of an idea of how big the property is. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for the next video.
Being pretty nosy. Gotcha. Good boy.